Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is certainly a change and a change for the better. It's not too surprising, but it is good. You've got Georgia governor who has a very, or at least last time I checked, really good approval rating in the state of Georgia, now has apparently mended the fences with Donald Trump. And Trump has made a video talking about him, talking nicely about him and everything like that. Everyone wondering what's going on. Kemp had the weird moment. He's always kind of been at odds with Trump, at least to a degree. He said, "Oh, I'm not going to vote in the primary for the state of Georgia because Trump's going to win no matter what." It's kind of an odd position to take, considering you are the governor, you are a Republican in a very important swing state, even though it's the primary. Trump, at that point, we all knew he was going to be the nominee. You'd think they'd go vote. And then the wife made a really weird statement. His wife did. But it seems like, not surprisingly, that they have decided to come together here and Brian Kemp with a solid approval rating, almost similar to Glenn Youngkin. I don't know if it's going to have that much of an effect because Donald Trump did lose the state in 2020. Although you could argue, I mean, based off of how many votes, like 5,000, 6,000, a lot of people, question that and everything like that. But it's a very close state. It is a state that Donald Trump, I think, needs to take back. It's not 100%. He needs it or else he's going to lose. But 16 electoral votes, losing that would be a very, very big gut punch. And looking at Trump right now in the state of Georgia, he's been kind of able to hold the line. I will caution people, this was not a state like many of the other swing states. Number one, when we go back to 2020, I thought there's no way Trump would lose this state. Georgia, a pure SEC state, there's no way. If you look at the polling in 2020, Trump was actually up by more in 2020, only by point 0.1, versus you can see in 2016, Clinton was up by one. But this has been a state that it seems like has been pretty accurate in terms of the way that it's polled. Now, obviously, Trump did win it by, a decent amount in 2016, and then he barely lost it in 2020. But when you look at Georgia, you look at Brian Kemp now on board, and you look at the fact that Trump, you've got even New York Times, although that New York Times poll was really weird. It had Trump up by 4 in Georgia. It had him down by 5 in like Pennsylvania. It was a really strange poll. But even some of these more liberal pollsters seemingly are having this election tied in Georgia. I would say once we get the more realistic polls, once we get really out of this Kamala Harris hype and with the bad DNC and everything like that, I think you're looking at Trump opening up a decent lead. Well, I don't know about decent, but I would say a 3 to 4 point poll lead in a state like Georgia. You take a look at how he was against Biden. I think that they have the numbers right here. Trump was sitting at plus 3.8, and really he had recent polls plus 4, plus 3, plus 6, and he was consistently up at one point up by 5 against Biden. Now, obviously, they've gone to Harris. You could even argue. I mean, we were arguing maybe Biden would have been a better candidate than Harris, but this just goes to show you how much of a, I mean, they call Republicans, they call it, it's hilarious. It's like Harris had one of the worst approval ratings of any VP in history, and now she's like this goddess. But I mean, what did she do? She must have walked on water or something to become this amazing in the span of a month. But either way, I mean, I think these are good numbers for Trump. Brian Kemp, people wondering why come together? They were at odds. This is necessary. Brian Kemp understands his life's going to be a lot easier with any Republican as president over a Democrat. It's very simple. This is just how politics works. And so that's why we're seeing them come together. And again, Georgia is very underrated. It's a very important state. It's got more electoral votes than Arizona. It's got way more electoral votes than Nevada. I feel like we look at all these swing states and almost give them equal, coverage. But in reality, the big kill shot for Trump, it's Georgia and Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania 19 electoral votes, Georgia 16. It's huge. Pennsylvania, Trump, very, very slim leads. Really good stuff coming out of there. You do have that Quinnipiac New York Times, two liberal pollsters with plus 3 and plus 4. It's weighing down Trump's aggregate lead at only plus 0.2. But I would say Pennsylvania, Georgia, the two most important states. North Carolina holding that is also extremely important. There's a narrative now based off of the closer recent polls. Didn't seem like there was any narrative with Biden versus Trump. It seemed like even liberals admitted that Trump was going to win that state. He was leading all the polls. And Trump has won North Carolina twice, obviously. But now there's this new thing where, now Harris has a chance in North Carolina. And of course, Trump supporters are going to say, no, not really. Trump's won the last 2 times. Now he's got better approval ratings. He's got better favorability versus his opponent. When you look at his favorability versus Hillary and also versus Biden versus what it is now versus Harris, even with Harris getting the massive boost recently, his favorability numbers, they're very high in comparison to where he was, and especially his opponent's favorability number is lower. That's with Harris getting the massive boost. So that's why you would say North Carolina. I mean, listen, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Georgia. I mean, I think that's got to be it. Obviously, you would also want a state like Arizona, Nevada. I think Wisconsin's going to be one that Trump wins. We all know about the polling in Wisconsin. You can see Hillary up by 11 this time in 2016. Just crazy numbers. It's a state that Trump won. Clinton was up by 11 2 months, 2.5 months before the election, 3 months, whatever it is. And Trump ends up winning it. Biden was up by 4.6. I don't know. What was the actual final tally in Wisconsin? I mean, this is just a crazy difference. So the overall Real Clear Politics average was Biden plus almost 7 points. He won it by half a point. So they overestimated him by 6 points, which is remarkable. The 2016, this is the inaccuracy of these polls. The exact same. So in 2016 and 2020, they underestimated Trump by basically exactly 6 points. Could you imagine even if they just underestimated Trump by half of that in 2024, he wins by 2 points. If these polls remain the same, if Trump's able to keep it close with the aggregate, I'm not saying he's a lock, but the fact that he was underestimated twice back to back in 2016 and 2020, that's very interesting out of Wisconsin. And that's really good news for Trump. That's what everyone's been talking about when you look at that state. We've also got this. What is this? Another fake poll? We're wasting our time with these. I mean, this is a joke. I don't think this is going to be added to the aggregate. At least, let's take a look at this, see if it's added to the. I don't think it will be. Right now, they have Harris up by 1.5 points, but they've got a New Mexico poll that's come out. So that's got Harris up by 10. I'm not too surprised by that. New Mexico, you include everyone. Oh yeah, you know what? With the Kennedy boost that Trump's going to be getting, it'll be interesting. It's also interesting to see West and Stein get basically zero. That's the Democratic machine at play, and just convincing people and bullying people. You can't vote for West or Stein. They're bullying Jill Stein now. They're telling her she can't be on ballots. She's coming out. She's like saying they're blatantly cheating. So it's getting really bad there. I do want to quickly check out Biden's approval rating. I normally don't look at this very much, except for when I do these videos and I see it, but it's kind of stagnated. See, it went way up. It went way up when he said he wasn't going to drop out, and the establishment was pressuring him to drop out, and it went back down. But it's still horrible. I mean, it is still terrible. He's maintaining minus 15 in terms of approval, even with him going up in approval, because the Democrats were very happy that he dropped out of the race. In terms of that, we've also got this video of Tim Walz potentially yanking his son aggressively. Now, people are talking about maybe there's the teleprompter there and he's trying to get his son out of the way of the teleprompter. But it does seem like it's hard to really see based on our field of view where the teleprompter is, how close it is to his son. But if you look at his face, he does seem very upset. He seems disgusted. Oh, yeah, I like these memes a lot. You've got the hand reaching behind. Bidenomics is working. Kamala will fix the economy. Yep, exchange it with the hand. The hand. The Democratic hand. Put the new one in. Kamala's going to fix the economy. Harris Walz. Yep. And see, he pulls his hand, but look at his face. He looks angry there. He looks angry. Now, maybe that's a reaction to the teleprompter being closed. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but still, he looks very angry in this clip, and everyone's been talking about it. And remember, it's the same thing that happens. They try and be this big happy family, this family guy, and then the next day he goes meets with Alex Soros. But he's this big happy dude who's going to help America. Wow. And I wanted to, I guess, torture myself by looking at 538. Now, if you guys don't know, 538, they're like I think they went bankrupt or something, honestly. I mean, this is like through ABC News. They don't even have a website anymore. But this is 538. They've got Harris up by 3.6. Take a look at this favorability for Kamala Harris. Wouldn't you know it? Unbelievable. And you would expect this to level off here soon. I mean, you're just talking about, this was up to 17 on July 4th. It was 17 unfavorable. And now it's gone all the way up, and just all the reports that are coming out from the polling experts, all the oversampling. They're forcing it now. It's like, some of these instances they're saying, listen, they're oversampling Dems by 10, 15, 20, 25 total points. One of them was like Dem plus 23, and it had her up by 7, and Democrats were like going crazy. And it's like, this is all manipulation. This is all crap. This is manipulation in and of itself. This is ridiculous. This is not how. I'll tell you what, the mainstream media now. These polls are fake. There's no way that this is really true, where her favorability is this high up. But still, it just goes to show you there's a lot of people that the substance of the politician does not matter. What the mainstream media tells you is what matters with people. And it's an information war. It is. They're going to paint narratives surrounding candidates. I mean, they were the same ones. It's the same mainstream media that had articles back 5 or 6 months ago in the winter saying that they were concerned Kamala Harris was dragging down the ticket for Biden and that she needed to be replaced because they were all in on Biden until the debate. They were all in on Biden. But those are remarkable numbers. Either way, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.